And swoosh. That's what I wanted to hit. All right.
The button?
The button.
The button.
Heat the button. Push the button, Frank.
Hey, Frank. Push the button.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. I'm your host, GMDM, and in 16 days referee, W. Adam Clark. My fun fact is, if you see this little tiny multicolored cable here, you will know that this is a new cable because I have replaced my XLR cable with the with a new one so that I won't have it falling out of the microphone while trying to talk in the near future. So that is a plus. What is not a plus is I thought that a 3-foot cable would be enough to get from right here to a foot below right here, but it's not, because I forgot that the cable was not running in a straight line and is attached to a 3-foot boom arm. So, in fact, a 3-foot cable was not long enough. But fortunately, when I was looking at the cables, Noctis and Roram convinced me to get the 2-pack of 3-foot cables based on the fact that at some point I will wind up needing a 3-foot extension cable for something because I will have guessed just short on a measurement. And boy, howdy, did they need 3 fucking days to be right.
Normally it takes longer for me to say, no, I guess I can't say that.
Nope.
Like that was an exceptionally fast I told you so, but you know what? It works. So that is me, and that humble pie was tasty. So we will now move on to our players, excluding, of course, Sadie, who has turned into a rock as she is currently at a Christmas party. So I will probably be Jaegering her through tonight's session. But now on to our players.
So, Sadie's been turned into a rock. Isn't she just playing her character accurately?
It'll get better.
It really is just a slightly different version of the character model, isn't it?
Hi, I'm Harry Cypress Everly. I'm playing Herodian, who is a robot/android. Fun fact, I am at my church, and yes, I own a church. I'm making it into a house. And this is the first time I've been here while it is actively snowing. There is a dusting of snow on the ground. I'm here for Christmas-ish, even though I'm a little early. So, getting my White Mountain Christmas anyway. And that's fun. I enjoyed that.
Yep.
Walking outside and going, oh, snow!
She is currently joining me in the studio, as can be proven by... Wah! Hey, watch this. High five!
Ironically, you couldn't see that at all. It's like in the 6 inches, happened in the 6 inches is not covered by the cameras on the stream.
The well choreographed fake.
There you go.
Although it's kind of amusing, you got you have Deuce coming off one side of the screen area.
Goodness.
Anyway, I guess I'll go next. Hello, I am Noctis Island. I play our wonderful Centurion, Remy. And fun fact for today, was the Reese of Gone with the Wind? Yes.
Was that already? Okay.
I learned a very interesting...
1939.
I learned a very interesting cinematic fact the other day. Actually, 2 of them that are somewhat related. When Men in Black came out in... what was it? When was it? What was the actual original release date? I want to make sure I get this right because it's very specific.
97?
Yes, but it came out in July 97. So there was, in fact, a 5-month window of time historically where Men in Black outgrossed Titanic because Titanic didn't come out until December 19th of that year. And Men in Black was the highest grossing movie of 97 until Titanic came out.
Not for sake.
However, between the two of them and some absolutely ridiculously successful movies, 1997 is the second adjusted for inflation. 1997 is the second highest grossing year for cinema in American history. You had, in the same year, Men in Black, Fifth Element, which didn't do that well at the box office, Lost World, Batman and Robin, Event Horizon, Titanic, Vegas Vacation, Contact, Volcano, Relic, The Saint, Starship Troopers, like Postman, Private Parts, Speed 2. Like, it was a ridiculously big year for cinema, and it was the second highest grossing year adjusted for inflation, even to this day. The first highest, and will never be eclipsed because of the way inflation works, was 1935, the year that most cinemas went to talkies, which conveniently enough was also the year that most cinemas started going for the nickel weekday shows. And they made so much money showing movies during the weekdays that they made it a regular feature. However, they made so much money showing movies during the weekdays, doing the nickel weekday features, where a 1935 nickel is worth like $12 today, that the 1935 box office total adjusted for inflation will never be able to be eclipsed.
Nuts.
So, bonus points. Continue on.
Okay. Hi, folks. I'm the old bacon eater. I'm old to eat bacon. I play games badly. In this particular gameplay, I play Martin, the cat, the herald of the machine's spirit, the face, and the one that's about 4. I think we're already down 4 lives of 9 now. Or did I just lose one?
No, I think just
I think
one.
I only lost one last
I think just
time,
one.
right? Okay, so we're down 3 in 3 sessions, basically. This is not going well for me at all. Alright. Fun fact, my family is weird. Gudetama is a thing. My sister did this one with the bacon blanket, because it just makes sense. Gudetama is basically a Japanese manga character of a fried egg. So
it's bacon and egg?
Yep. Pretty much.
Now I need to make it a little like quilt to lay on that's like a waffle.
I mean, that's pretty good. Anyway.
Hold on, let me check.
Jason's looking to
Oh,
buy and mail to you for Christmas.
no.
He's like, I got presents to mail out.
Honestly, I've gotten more this year than I was expecting.
Unfortunately, the only ones I can find are human-sized.
So we could have a pig in a blanket, which is to say a bacon in a blanket. Waffle-tastic.
I mean,
So, bonus fun fact, we were at a restaurant this weekend that does serve breakfast and actually has no qualms about selling anybody something from the kids menu. So I actually got a $4 breakfast that was actually my size. Because I know 12-year-olds larger than me.
Cool. Well, that worked out pretty well, huh?
Yeah, they generally, I can't go out to breakfast because they sell these massive plates of like, $12 to $18 things that I can't eat a quarter of.
Right.
I'm like, look, it's my size breakfast, yay! And I asked him, like, look, I swear we're gonna order him a full-size meal. Can we order me off the kids' menu? She's like, you can anyway. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, I know other restaurants are weird about that, but we don't care. I was stupid happy. Can't imagine. I too was like, man, being so tiny and having no appetite and trying to eat out and like, what? Like, I mean, everyone knows it's expensive to eat out, but imagine how much more expensive it seems when you can't eat half of what they bring you.
Right.
Always having the to-go box.
And I don't deal well with leftovers because of my sensitivity, because I'm so finicky about everything. So half the time I can't even use leftovers. So to me, it's just like a complete waste to eat out ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least when there's not somebody to foist the leftovers on.
Pretty much, that's usually what I do, because my mom has no problem. Yeah, Deuce and my mom have no problem with leftovers, so I usually just go, here, the rest is yours. I don't have any use for it most of the time. Especially because the kinds of things I like to eat when I'm eating out are the kinds of things like that I'm not going to make at home for exactly that reason. It doesn't keep well as leftovers.
Right.
French toast.
Yeah.
It's a good example.
Which was literally what she got. So.
Nice.
It literally was. And bacon, because everyone loves bacon.
It was a piece of French toast.
And a piece of bacon. Yeah, like it was legit one slice of French toast, cut in half, so it was 2 diamonds and like one freaking piece of bacon. And I'm like, yay, it's perfect!
All right, so I know this is not the case because I understand how audio equipment works, but and I almost kind of want Noctis to give me a confirmation on this, and I'm saying that just because as a DJ, I know he is also he hears things in audio equipment that only people that use audio equipment hear, right? Like most people in the audience won't notice the difference. Most people in the audience can't notice the difference between somebody using an XLR mic and a USB mic. People who know what to listen for will notice the difference, especially when the head moves just about this much. So, but Noctis, does this new cable sound clearer? Like, it sounds very crisp to me. And I haven't adjusted any levels on anything except for changing out the cable.
How old was that cable?
3 years? 5 years tops?
And this one,
Unless you
about
got a
15
lower
minutes.
impedance.
Yeah, like...
That's the only thing I can think of.
Right?
If it was a shitty cable.
Yeah, like that. That's pretty... Well, I mean, yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Which is the only problem with a boom arm like this, which is designed to, have a concealed cable in it, is they cheap out on the cable.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, to me, this sounds like really... I also remember that the plug was starting to loosen on the other cable, so so it actually could have been affecting sound quality, but to me this sounds like in the monitor that I'm getting back, it sounds really, really crisp. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, it sounds all right.
Cool.
I mean, if I actually heard them side by side, I might be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, see, I'd have to go back and listen. I might be able to pick up on it, maybe, but I'm not as well trained. So.
At the very least, it sounds good now, and that's really all that matters going forward.
Yes.
I mean, that's a fair point.
So, who, and by who I mean Bacon, would like to tell us what happened last session?
Well, at this point, although it's very, very short, I do have entry number 3 of the log of you got to do it, Deuce, because I can't do it.
Across stars.
Right. Entry 3. Okay. Oh, that hurt. Let me sum up since I only have a little time. We did meet with the Seshi that was under threat of the Volcanicats. And we did find the segment of the scepter that brought us here. And then the translator will negotiate on our behalf regarding this segment. And the leader is aware of why we were brought here in the first place, so that might help. After we got all this and got supplied, we ended up going to the main nest, den, whatever it is, of the Volcanicats. And the main threat was the nest's mother, as it was going to be reproducing more Volcanicats and potentially wiping out the Seshi entirely in a matter of I don't remember exactly what was said. It might have been weeks, might have been months, but we're only here for about another 24 to 30 hours, so this needed to be done, dispatched as soon as possible. And the conflict was well, the leader of the first session that we met was right. The leader of the threatened session was definitely not nearly as proficient as a warrior. And I suspect the other warriors that came with us, the bowmen, caught nerves. Nevertheless, we managed to remove the threat, but not without near casualties on our side of the equation. I went through another life myself, but I can take partial credit for the elimination of the mother, as between the machine spirit allowing me to pin the mother in an untenable position, and then Hrxyg'giroth creating the untenable position in the first place, we did rather well. Now we just need to acquire that segment, try to figure out which segment it is, and then somehow label it so we don't get it confused when it comes time to assemble the scepter, because we have to do it in a particular fashion. And, oh yes, I need healing. I have holes in me the size of Ohio. What's Ohio? I don't know. But the holes are that big.
That's funny.
Okay, so we return to our heroes already in progress.
Yes, I believe we were still on site,
We were actually
waiting.
We broke just as the fight ended.
Correct. So you have just finished dispatching the cats. Hrxyg'giroth, do you have harvesting and harvesting tools?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I believe Leos does as well. And these were monstrosities. So that means nature or investigation. Are you trained in either one?
Yeah, I am not. Yeah, because I was trained in Beast Lore instead.
Deuce is muted.
I'm going to keep messing that up tonight. So,
All right.
that was discussing who was trained in harvesting and what skills. And I'm going to go ahead and...
And I can try to persuade the meat out of its skin, but...
That's not how persuasion works. Hrxyg'giroth, you can go ahead and roll for the harvesting checks. You can make 3 tests. Because you are trained, you will have a higher roll, and because Leos is not trained in, and you have advantage because you have the tools. Because Leos is not trained in any of those skills, they cannot assist you further. So go ahead and go for it. That's a 16. And that's 15.
I'm sorry, I typed those wrong. Those should both be 1 higher.
So 17 and 16, got it.
That one I did correctly.
And 22, so you did do that one very correctly. All right, I am going to start pulling components, and you all decide what you're doing next.
If anyone wishes healing, I can provide some now.
Well, I'm good. Might want to see too. Martin, though.
That includes those who came with us too. I think at least someone else from the party got hit. Neither of the archers, I believe, but. And as a reminder, that is the healing touch cantrip, so I can pretty much do it endlessly, but it will come out of your healing pool.
Healing pool. Yeah, make sure the witch and the boss guy
Yep.
too.
Nope, we're all good. So one of the regular guys that got gnawed upon once, but yeah, you can just take the opportunity to heal to full from your pool.
There we
We probably ought to go through and make sure that there aren't any more youngins around. Or eggs. How do these things reproduce?
Give me a beast lore or a nature check.
I can do the beast lore.
Can I check as well?
Yes.
I can do the beast lore. How do the beast lore?
Apparently I have some intuition.
I skipped that class.
Nope. I'm too
Look smart.
I'm too concerned with the holes in my body the size of Ohio, which I don't know what Ohio is.
That's in Ohio.
So
Sounds very round, so it sounds like it has big holes.
very round sound. After examining the creature, you believe that the tendril attacks from the mother that never got an opportunity to land, in fact, are a delivery device for a either larva or pupa state of the creature that would then enter the body and cause extreme pain and burning from the inside.
Good thing that one didn't hit me then. Okay.
I tried really hard.
Yep. That would have sucked.
So we want to take special care when removing those to like burn them or something, or perhaps not burn because they're already fire creatures, but you know what I mean. Smash them.
All that, and also check the rest of their layer to see if there were any developing, and see if there's anything else interesting back there.
Scouting is not the worst idea.
Feel free to give me an investigation check.
I'm just the idea guy.
I mean,
You actually rolled a 0.
that's a lot better.
There you go.
I mean, I could change back into my other armor, but
It wouldn't help your skill roll any.
it would give me advantage.
Oh.
But then I'd have to expend a armor thing to change, and I couldn't change back.
Yeah, don't do that.
Not yet. Not till later levels.
Is it next level? I think it's next level, actually.
Okay. I have our pieces parts list.
Yay, pieces parts. Did we get her any good pieces parts?
Yeah.
Pieces parts.
Now let me try to throw those on the character real quick if I can figure out where she was hiding them. I think she was just keeping the notes somewhere else, but I'll just put the list on here anyway.
1D level fire looks pretty good. It's gotta be something good she can make that into.
Alright, it is recorded and on the character sheet. So it can only go so wrong from here. So, you have dispatched all of the hot kitties, and you have searched the lair fully. Some of you have searched the lair fully. Remy, I almost want to make him make a check to see if he fell in the volcano.
Remy was busy keeping an eye on the lava while we were searching for things. I'll make sure it doesn't move.
Mott, please give me a 1d10 roll.
Right down the middle. 5.
like any of those options. All right. You find something. I'll get back to what it is in a minute when I decide what I want it to be.
Something not beast bit related.
Correct. Other than that, what comes next?
Do we need to find a way to try to seal this so it cannot become a lair again?
That's actually a fair point.
The witch turns to you and says to Martin, sealing the fissures, number one, is not a good idea because it can cause it to build up pressure, and two, is not useful because other fissures can simply open up at any time.
Due to the volcanic activity of the planet.
Correct.
Right. Not necessary.
Is there any place else that needs to be cleaned out while we're here?
I mean, that's up to you. There are other threats in the area we can certainly direct you to if you are interested in trying to eliminate them. Fortunately, this is the only... this was the greatest risk to us, but we can always, if you're interested, send you to another lair of mountain cats, or if you thought you could handle it, you could try to deal with the burning shadow.
What?
The burning shadow. And the words come across to you exactly the same way again.
This isn't something we were told. To the others. Burning shadow, was this brought up to us at all?
No.
Not to my recollection.
As you are discussing, because they can understand what she is saying, one of the guides taps Remy on the shoulder and points up, and then does kind of a this motion with its hand.
Oh. The big...
Would that- The thing that we evaded before, I imagine.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that looked like what we would call a dragon, I take it?
It's tough to know for sure, but it is somewhere in the dragon, wyvern,
Adjacent.
oh my god, we're dead family, yeah. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying this is a voluntary risk-reward situation. Which, to be fair, if you want to voluntarily go for reward over risk, doing it the week that Sadie is not here is probably a good call.
How much time do we have remaining in this location?
I'll check my timer. Because I do have one. I do have a clock.
Oh, right. If you just check the timer, your timer has 16 hours remaining.
We're at 16 hours.
But we are also largely expended for resources, aside from the ones of mine that you have not utilized. I do not have additionals at this time.
Yeah.
And we probably want to be semi-rested when we get ready for the...
For the jump.
Yeah.
Correct, because we do not know what we will see when we jump next.
Yeah. And we also still have to acquire the segment. And determine
We should at
which-
least do that first, if
Idiots.
possible.
Yeah.
But I'll turn to the witch and gesture towards the pile that was the big one. But this is the mother that you needed. gotten
Yes.
rid of.
Yes, that was our immediate threat for the for the Seki that we are from. That was what was causing our immediate concern.
But we may be running short on time, so it was a couple hours out here, right?
Yeah.
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 So yeah, between going back and negotiating and resting and whatnot, it could be a little short on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll take you, if there's 16 hours left, you will have probably about 13 hours remaining when you get back, and then you're going to have the conversation, and then you're still going to have about another 8 or 9 hours before you can make camp again. And then after you finish making camp again, then the timer will have gone off.
So there is a little extra gap in there. It's just we don't have time to like wait, make camp, and then take on another big fight and then make camp again before we leave. Is
Yeah.
more the issue.
You could. It just means staying here an additional day. That is, you don't necessarily have to leave as soon as the device is recharged. You are currently operating, as I understood it, under the impression that doing so gets you home the quickest, which is a interest because you're trying to get back before
Stop an
anything goes
invasion.
wrong. So
Right.
that was why you were not looking to dilly-dally anywhere, although theoretically you could.
Yeah, the timer is just the soonest it can do the jump, not when it is going to
Right.
go off.
Correct.
Right. But since we don't know what's happening in our world, the sooner return, the better.
Unnecessary risks may be ill-advised.
Right. So as you start your walk back towards the Seki, everyone, why don't you all give me go to this map for now. Why don't you all give me a D8 roll, and I will roll one for our missing player. All right, so you all managed to make it back without further incident. And once you have returned home, or rather, once you have returned to the Seki, the chief approaches and via Martin's translation. Thank you very much for your assistance in dealing with that problem. You have said that you need that metal rod to protect your own world?
That is correct.
It has been with our people longer than any can remember. No one knows where it came from or why it was here. And although we have been able to identify it as magical, there has never been, no one has ever since been able to find a method to activate it.
Well, going back and forth with the leader. We believe it's been at least, oh good lord, Why can't I remember? The
10,000.
the conflict in our world was 1,000 years, 10,000 years. I don't remember.
10,000.
10,000.
Some 10,000 years ago. And according to what we were able to gather, because for us, stuff of legend as well. The scepter, of which that piece is a piece, segments were scattered throughout the multiverse. As for figuring out how to activate it, and this is where I need to take a risk and whatnot. Now I actually bring out the headpiece.
Okay.
This was entrusted to us to basically find the rest of it, get it assembled, and return to ours before ours is completely eradicated. And I suspect it doesn't just stop with our world, considering what we saw. And I actually took photos. So I go to the BlackBerry and I see,
Okay.
and I actually show them, this is what we're up against.
Um. Doubt either of these guys are going to get it. But... Nope. Okay.
Oop.
The witch also standing right next to the chieftain so that she can translate for him.
Sure.
Looks at your device and goes, you have a way to store paintings. This is specific to my religion.
Excuse me. Yeah, I put it away. I am a herald or follower of the machine spirit. I don't know if that translates in your language or in your philosophy at all.
I know there are words coming across. Most of them I am familiar with. I don't know if they mean the same thing to us that they mean to you.
That's where we run into it, yes. But I've never had to explain it. Now I find myself unable to. Excuse me. Sorry, my lunch was terrible. But this, the device, is effectively a book, for lack of a better way, a book without pages.
Okay.
The pages are I'm going to try. The pages are effectively memory, or Well, effectively, it's memory after it's input into the book. It's just not physical. It's stored. It's written, and written here is used as some sort of common ground. Basically, it's a series of zeros and ones, but we're talking about billions of them.
But it is made of colors.
The colors are actually written in the zeros and ones as well. It's good lord, my master would be annoyed at me that I wouldn't be able to explain this properly.
Arthur C. Clarke, however, would be amused.
Yes.
Wouldn't he though?
And proven correct. Yet
Right.
again.
And over and over and over. But
As you can tell by my name, the two of us are obviously related.
Thanks, Viking.
Advantage in roleplay. Oh, dear.
Good luck with that.
But Christ, where was I? I'm sorry.
You were explaining the colors hidden in the zeros and ones.
It's all information. See, it has its own language. The book has its own language, and then it translates from its language into mine/ours in the form of images or
Similar to the spell we use to understand each other.
quite exactly.
Ah.
This is a focus, if you will, a direct connection to my DT.
So what you're saying is a sufficiently advanced form of magic, sufficiently advanced form of technology duplicates magic.
Or can't be distinguished from one or the other.
Yes.
Yes. I was never going to get there. I've heard it dozens and dozens of times, and I would never have gotten there. Damn it.
It's a kind of magic. All right, so we have similar, not small metal boxes with pictures, but we have a place where we store similar pictures through the ages.
If it is possible, I would be curious to see this. Or we search for clues.
She and the two guards that you've been traveling with separate out from the throne room with the intention of coming immediately back. As she takes you down another hall. This cave, it represents the history of our people. Some images have been added during my lifetime. Many are from much earlier than that. 3 travelers coming from another world, I assure you, means that I will be adding at least one more image to this hall to remember this moment with our guests, and to make sure that future generations also have a chance to know what has happened here. And everyone give me a perception check.
It sounds like I should have brought back a trophy head.
Martin, you have advantage on this one.
Oh, I do. Oh, nice. Now, wait. No, I only have perception if it's hearing.
Correct. But you were given an advantage card to bacon because
that's
who doesn't
right.
love bacon?
Right.
That's right. Well, it didn't do me any good.
That's fine.
So 14. Still, thanks, Becky.
You, in one of the early images in the earliest section near the start of the cave, you see something that makes your blood run cold.
The entity.
You see... Oops. Did not mean to nick that. Fortunately, nobody saw it, so I'll just have to edit this out, but I accidentally changed the size of the map component for a second. you see an image that resembles a tall warrior carrying a spear and shield painted on the wall. The image is dark, so it's mostly all just silhouetted.
Yeah.
But where the warrior's head should be, there are half a dozen wiggly lines that extend out from the creature, and then radiating out from the sides of its body, from like shoulder to hip on both sides, are to either side another dozen wiggly lines.
Rod.
Does that mean I saw that too, since I rolled like a point higher?
Oh, did you? Yes, you also saw that, but your blood doesn't run cold because you don't have any. And your antifreeze is functioning correctly.
Good. But does it resemble anything we saw before we left?
Do you think it resembles anything you saw before you left?
I'm just saying if it did, like, inherently in some way.
I mean, keeping in mind, this is ink and paint and not an electronic representation, but still, that...
What is the figure doing?
Well, this is just a painted image on the wall. It's pretty much standing just in an aggressive pose.
And you said it's one of the first ones we see.
Correct.
Nevertheless, it looks out of place either way. I will point to it and ask, do we know what this is?
More accurately, do we know what it is holding?
It is a image of what we would call a demon. I do not know of a name for it, except that it is referred to as the Bringer of Darkness.
I'm trying to remember what all the crittery creatures are we saw before we left. I know there was all the things that were flying in, but I was trying to remember what we saw, like, on our way out the portal.
Well, there were a couple thingies with all the tentacles, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we did see something with tentacles. Okay.
The BBEG was a giant mass of tentacles.
Yeah, he was up in the sky, right, or something?
Correct. And in fact was just coming in the door of the temple at the time that you guys, that you pieced out.
But in a very abstract kind of way, this drawing could resemble the same thing.
It could resemble like a solar being, except that the solar is not solar, it's darkness, but it's still making rays out. It could resemble the big bad evil guy. It is a cave drawing. It could resemble a whole lot of things, but you cannot say that it could not resemble this guy.
It could also resemble something with like really big wild hair or something, or headdress or something. Like it's a cave drawing.
Hella bad head.
Bad hair dead. But it does look aggressive, and it is possible that it resembles the thing that we saw. And it was way early on.
Correct.
And it's still like some kind of a coincidence, at least, that we're seeing that resemblance, plus the fact that one of the pieces are here.
That is a coincidence.
And that was called the Bringer of Darkness?
Yes, it is something that the legend was ancient even in my grandmother's time. It is... Not much is known about it, even in our oldest legends, except that it is a incredibly powerful and evil force. I want to point out, you did not show her a picture of the big bad evil guy. That was not one that you had a chance to take a picture of. You showed her images
fair.
of the horned creatures that were blasting spells and the insectial creatures with the swords and shields and the flying beetle-winged creatures. But you did not have a picture of the big bad evil guy.
Yeah, the bigs. Yeah.
Fair point.
Well, in your legends, where was it defeated, or what is the story of it?
It is tough to say, but it, in the early legends which we have, it states that it came from a far distance away, and it was bent on removing all light from the world, and that it was driven back into darkness by a great light.
And is there any stories about this great light that...
None that I know, I'm sorry. That's all that I'm familiar with.
She can understand what we're saying, right?
Yes, she can understand you, and Martin is translating what she says.
Right.
And unless he jumps in at any point and he says a different word or says something else, you can generally assume that he is translating one-to-one. That's generally how I work this, because it's easier than making someone keep going what they said.
Right.
Can we still pull like a team huddle kind of thing?
Oh yeah, you can go over and start whispering to each other where she can't hear you. That's fine.
Because I would just like to say aside in a team huddle, not that I'm against saying anything to her, but just in case we decide otherwise, I like to pull aside team huddle and go, given the resemblance of that drawing to the thing that invaded in our place, I wonder if it is more than a coincidence that one of the pieces is found here. Perhaps one of their ancestors as well was entrusted as a guardian of one of the pieces of the staff.
Or they faced the same invasion. And there was a large cooperation between whatever it was that was around here and our homeworld and wherever else.
But nevertheless, one of the pieces was left here. It seems a strong coincidence.
We don't have anything else to go on right now.
I do not know if we intend to share details of our invasion with her or anyone else we encounter.
I already did, at least to an extent. But maybe not to this extent. Having said, the threat is very real to both our worlds. And if this keeps up, it'll be the others as well.
You didn't grab a picture of that big ugly fella, did you?
No, I wasn't able to. I was only able to acquire photos of some of the infantry and air units. Nothing of the big bad.
GM, is there a recording device in my memory itself that could be translated outside of it in any way?
Possibly if you had the right technology and or magic, but not that you have inherent access to.
We do not know the significance of this coincidence at this time, but we may wish to keep it in mind with future places we visit. There may be some importance to it,
We definitely want to keep this in mind.
but we should go back and continue.
That's what we have at this point. Having said, if we get a chance, I'll want to ask the headpiece a specific question.
Do you wish to document this drawing as well, in case the
Yeah.
record keeping becomes useful at a later date?
Yeah. So at this point, I'll
Alright.
pull out the BlackBerry
Mhm.
and I will ask the witch first if she will allow me to record this,
Oh, of course. I see no reason not to.
and I will do so, and I will make notes.
Right.
So,
And then I guess continue walking down her memory lane there.
Yeah, you spend probably a good another half hour walking down the passage, and as you get closer towards the other end of this exceptional cave, she can give more and more informations about things. Like some of them she knows more about than others along the way, but you get the idea that this is just perhaps the earliest written record on this world, and that this cave is exceptionally old, and you are able to tell by the length of the cave and the number of like generations between champions and that kind of thing that she's describing, that this Seki has probably been in this specific location for at least 100 generations, if not longer.
does the art style change / refine as we get into more recent times, or is it roughly the same?
It does to some extent, but mostly it remains pretty much where it is. Give me everyone give me a empathy roll.
Empathy.
I'm sorry,
Insight?
I'm mixing my game systems. Insight. And Bacon, you have advantage again.
No, I have a +1, not advantage.
Oh, okay, whatever it is.
Why do I bother being skilled?
Jeez.
Remy, you're something of a art critic in your spare time, and you notice that as you go down, you can see specific changes in the styles, specific movements that last a few generations here or there, different variations to technique or materials. Some you can attribute to cultural changes within the Krolok. Some are actually just a obviously visible technological change. Some of them possibly just cultural shifts, being more interested in various hues than others from the past. But you can see that there is ebbs and flows to the art styles, which demonstrates an inherent value in the culture, adds credence to the idea that that these images weren't done over even a short period of time, such as 2 or 3 generations, and have been extensively separated out. For Martin, they all look like cave drawings.
Yeah.
For Herodium, they look like cave drawings, but some of them are different.
I will
Got it.
I will relay my advanced analysis of the stylistic variances to the very uninterested party.
Actually.
Oh god, he's gonna art nerd on us. The rest of us are just like, yeah, keep drawing.
There is no nerd worse than an art nerd, with the possible exception of a music theory nerd. Because no one
Not
needs...
even music theory.
Yes, music theory nerds are the worst. I know, I am one. Absolutely no one needs to hear you go on about the differences between 3/4 time and 5/6 time.
No, they would be more on about the emotional carriage of going from a 5/7 flat 11 to a 5/7 flat 13.
Oh! Oh, so good.
This is what he's doing to us in game right now, Jack.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those who ever want to know, if you ever look up the for very viable reasons, an incredibly underrated band, Guar. If you ever look up their cover of Carry On My Wayward Son that they did with AVI, there are 9 time changes that they put into that song. 9 time changes. By like a 6 or 7 person band. I'm telling you, that requires precision playing.
And an extreme amount of boredom.
Yes.
Okay, so after class lets out.
Okay.
This is what's happening as we're walking down the hallway, and you can see here the shift towards
Nerds! Anyway.
And here's where apparently they developed cubism.
this was very obviously a newly discovered mineral pigmentation resource.
Yeah, like literally just that for like an hour as you're going through.
My
And
character is
obviously, this one had a
incapable.
stroke.
My character is incapable of looking bored,
Are you sure you're incapable? Because you may be managing it.
or maybe it just always looks bored. It always looks unmoved.
That'll buy.
Talk about a flat affect. But that's a different kind of nerding.
Yes.
The Crichton's line from Red Dwarf in one episode. So, is it possible we could take a break? I believe my optic receptors have melted. We can,
good old
Crichton, but we took a break only 2 hours ago, and if we stop now, we might not get a chance to get through the rest of the slide presentation. That, sir, is a risk that I am willing to take.
All right, so after
How the hell did we get off on
well,
that?
4 of the cave drawings and theoretical art history lesson of another world, what happens?
All right. We do still need to fire that segment.
Are we here to have our group photo taken for the wall?
Now, that needs to happen too.
Well, you're not going to have a photo taken for the wall so much as she will paint a version of your images on the wall because you have no way to leave a photo here for her.
Right.
Don't have a pocket printer?
Do not have a pocket
No.
print.
Do not have a button.
So we're sitting for portraits instead. Got it. Good thing we left ourselves some spare time.
Yeah. She'll
Sure.
kind of like sketch out a basic of your images.
Yes. Round gold balls, not burning cat, metallic stick, and rock.
Just in case this takes a minute, I think we are going to break right before we do this instead of right after. So why don't we take a quick break and then we will come back and deal with the items. So everybody feel free to get up, take a step around. We will be back in about 3 minutes. So see you all then. Bye.
Great.
Fun fact, that break was exactly 3 minutes and 56 seconds long. I know because that's how long that track was that I was playing.
So you're saying I'm late, is what you're saying?
No,
No, perfect.
you are a wizard, Harry. You have arrived exactly when you meant to.
Cool.
Bonus fun fact. Were you all aware of the existence of something called a Little Debbie's oatmeal, or not oatmeal, peanut butter cream pie?
No, and now I need them.
Wait, what was that? I heard something
Heard-
about pie.
It is the... It is the peanut butter equivalent of an oatmeal cream pie. So, essentially 2 peanut butter cookies with a peanut butter icing filling.
Wow.
We appreciate your peanut butter.
And the cream. And the peanut butter cream.
Hmm.
And the creamy cream. So I
Okay.
didn't need to know this, but
Right.
oh my god. I'm
But perhaps I needed not to know this.
Yes, that's actually probably more the case, yeah.
Is that something that has?
Yeah, he picked
brought
it up
home?
when he was at the grocery store because he,
So
apparently they didn't have a whole lot of selection of diet sodas. So he decided to get me some, like, those and a watermelon lemonade that they had there, a bunch of this, just so I
Well,
would stay
that'll
away from
teach them.
Cersei Cola.
That'll teach
I
them.
know.
All right.
Ah, I see him.
Ah, okay. Yeah, no. Those are not allowed to come in the house because they ain't going to make it 10 feet.
And now you know about them too.
I can know about them as long as I don't bring them here. All right. So, you all return to the chieftain's throne room where the lion's share of the loot is. And you are... Martin, you again see the scepter. It is maybe 1.25 to 1.5 inches in diameter, and probably about 10 inches long. Here's the fun bit that I'm not going to explain to anyone here, but probably will throw in a inset now into the YouTube video so that I can explain to anybody watching it, and the players won't have any clue what's going on yet. However, Martin, can you roll for me a D6 and then also a D6? Okay, so the way that this is working is I have 6 segments, and each segment is going to have a capability approximately equivalent to a spell of a level 1 through 6. However, it's not the closest piece is the strongest all the way down the staff. They're intermixed. So the 1d6 is to determine the power level of the component they just found. The other d6 is to determine the position on the staff of the component that they just found. Because you can only be attuned to quote-unquote the staff once at a time. And pieces that are next to each other will interlock together. Vis-a-vis pieces 5 and 6 can connect, pieces 2 and 3 can connect, but you can't connect piece 3 and 5 without having 4. So depending on how this works, they could wind up having one person get all of the scepter pieces all at once, or they could wind up having so many breaks in it that every single player winds up needing to have a separate piece because they can't combine any yet because they haven't found the interlocking pieces yet. And none of that will be determined by me. That will all be determined by clueless stinking doodah luck.
So 2d6.
Yes, but they must be rolled separately.
Oh. Well, here's a d6.
Okay.
And then here's another d6.
Okay. Continue.
So, wait. What am I missing?
We're back in the chieftain's room.
Mm-hmm. Alright. I'm going to bring out our buddy the headpiece.
Okay.
I'm going to remind myself of what the thing...
It was Dovak or something?
I believe it's Dovak.
Dovak.
Yeah, it's Dovak. It's Dovak. Dovak, can you activate temporarily, please?
Dovak activated.
Is the gate... Is the segment close enough that you can determine which segment it is?
The segment is within a 1 meter proximity. I can identify the segment at this time, if you wish.
Please do.
Segment is the 6th section of the scepter.
Now, important point. I refer to you as segment 0.
That would be accurate.
Is segment 6 the furthest away from you?
That would be accurate.
Thank you. Can segment 6 be slotted into you directly?
No.
It cannot.
Each segment can only be attached to the preceding and following segments in line. Any attempt to attach segments in the incorrect order could be disastrous.
Can the segment be activated on its own?
Yes, so long as each segment is maintained within 50 meters of a power source, they can be functional.
Okay. Thank you, Dovak. Resume charging. Okay. So we have confirmed that this is part of the Sector 7.
Correct.
The other question I want to ask, Dovak, I don't want to ask in the presence of the Krolak, so I'm going to hold on to that for now.
All right.
But at this point, I need to ask the Warlord via the translator. As you are aware of our necessity, we understand it is of historical significance to you, but would you be able to part with that segment so we may save our world?
I don't see any reason to keep you from being able to do so. You have protected us. It seems only right to allow you to take it with you for such a purpose.
Check my timer again. We're probably down to about, what, 10 hours?
Yeah, about that.
Would you allow us to camp here, rest, as we cannot yet?
Most certainly. That's not a problem.
We appreciate your working and give some sort of appropriate benediction.
Okay.
May your search for clues bring you to a solution.
Ooh.
Nice.
I mean,
That's good character stuff right there.
Logic unit, we search for clues.
Cute.
Right. Wasn't Mayor Searches always be login?
I mean, that too.
Okay. So the item that you found in the cave was a small bag that was etched with a symbol of a dragon in flight on it, or perhaps a burning shadow on it. And if you look in at the bag, you see 6 small round objects in it, each between 1/4 to a 1/2 inch in diameter.
They obviously do something. Do we have an identify magic guy?
I am not it.
I believe during the last long rest, Bacon had said he was going to be swapping out one of his cantrips to get it. If not, you certainly can, because
anyone can get that.
Yeah.
Wait, which cantrip?
Identify magic.
No, that's on my list.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we still don't. We still haven't actually done the cards correct.
It's a cantrip, so you cast it as a cantrip, and then
Right.
you make a spell casting ability score modifier check, adding your proficiency bonus against a difficulty based on the rarity of the magic item.
Right. So it'd be a D20 plus 6. So D20 plus 6, you 15.
Okay. As you cast it, the staff, the portion of the staff glows as magic. The bag glows as magic. A whole bunch of things in this room that you haven't touched glow as magic. The magic items that you already are aware of for the party glow as magic.
Interesting.
And with a 15, you are aware that the item you have picked up, which goes by 2 varying names, either breath mints or dragon candy. As a minor action, you may reach into the bag, grab a candy, and pop it into your mouth. You will randomly grab a candy of one of the following types: acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or stone. Eating the candy causes 1d6 damage of the appropriate type, as the flavor is overpowering. A save versus con to halve the damage. However, after eating, you may now make a breath attack as a minor action once per round of the same type in a 15-foot cone. The effect lasts for 1d6 rounds, and the imbiber takes the damage and can save against it again every round at the beginning of their turn until the flavor fades. Up to 6 candies may be pulled from the bag per day, with the same random chance regardless of what has already been pulled, and the bag resets at dawn.
I remember this so
What?
fun.
That is awesome, and I
So
call
much
not it
fun.
because my constitution's not high enough.
Super awesome. Ah, excuse me.
Would you also like to identify the scepter while you're here?
I would at
While the
least
spell
like
is active.
I would at least like to attempt to do so.
Cool.
Yes. So we will do that. Go on, dice. Be cooperative.
Be nice,
20.
Be
Dirty
nice,
20.
so nice.
Good job with the 20. You have the 6th segment
Mhm.
of the scepter.
Yes.
The head being considered the 0th segment.
Right.
This segment will be charged. It is currently inert. It must be charged before it can be attuned. It is charged by being tapped to the side of the head unit for the Scepter of Seven. Once it is charged once, it will be able to maintain its own charge. It's just it is currently inert because it has been away from a power source for too long.
Right. So that's something I'm going to need to find out is what in the heck the power source.
The head, the Dovak
Oh,
part.
the head is the power source.
Yes.
Okay.
So you just have to make contact to them, and then the scepter segment will be charged. Once it is charged, it can be attuned to. And this scepter segment, the ability to cast a dispel magic as if casting as a 3rd level spell. However, as if it's trying to dispel something higher than 3rd level, it checks as if the spell casting ability of the caster was a 25.
Got its own internal amplifier there.
Correct. Additionally, you can spend mana, or if you're a herald, you can use one of your spell slots. If you are attuned to the item, you can use a herald spell slot or your own mana to effectively upcast the spell as it is activated from the staff.
Okay.
Sure.
Quite interesting.
That is not normal for magic items. Usually you can't upcast them, but there is something about the staff itself which makes it a incredibly unique magical device.
Relic? What?
Exactly.
Anyway, duh. Huh. Okay. So the search for clues has come to a successful interim. We've got a long way to go.
So because it's got that internal amplifier, does that mean that we don't necessarily have to give it to a caster for it to be effective in use?
Correct. If you give it to a non-caster or even a caster, it will dispel at 3rd level as if the wielder had a spellcasting ability score of 25. If you give it to a caster, the additional benefit is they can voluntarily choose to upcast the spell. However, if given to a non-spellcaster, it will function as if it was a 3rd level spell cast by a spellcaster of ultra superhuman capability.
Obviously, it's too early to know this, but in my head, the question is going to be, are they going to all end up being like this? Because we're not just going to hand everything to our, 2 casters? And you said it does require attunement to use at all. So.
And it also
Correct.
requires a tuning. That's the other thing.
It requires being powered by being, placed in physical contact with the Dovak unit. And then once that has been done, it requires attunement.
So I suspect that's going to come rather useful in the future.
I mean, there is no time when a dispel magic device does not become useful.
Yeah, we'll probably have that discussion more when everybody's back again. Because this is a big artifact, it's not just an anything find.
Well,
And I don't think it's really obvious in whose hands it's most useful to have a dispel magic.
Right.
In the hands of anyone who is most likely will have not used their... Oh no, it's no, because I was going to say it.
This should be a full action.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, because I was thinking it was something else, but it's not. So yeah, no, it's literally just about anybody.
Actually, that's a question about the way these kinds of things work with my class. Since I have to pre-cast everything, would I pre-assign points to boosting it?
Yeah, like if you wanted
Or
to,
just not have used everything yet?
pretty much. You would have to
Okay.
choose to not use something to have it, which means this one is probably not the most effective for you to have.
Because honestly, in my hands, it's really not much better than handing it to a non-caster unless we know in advance we're going to need to use it.
Correct.
I mean, unless it's going to work by like absorbing the stuff that you already have prepared, or something like that.
No.
Okay.
No, it would have to be an unutilized spell, unutilized
Okay.
mana or spell slot. Now, the advantage is that Dispel Magic, because it doesn't necessarily need to be used in the moment, you do have the option of going, okay, well, I guess we're planning on dispelling something tomorrow. Or you could try to dispel it today, and if it doesn't work, then you could go, okay, I guess I'm going to save 6 mana to make absolutely sure it gets dispelled tomorrow.
I mean, that is the other possibility in my case, is that if it doesn't need to be dispelled immediately, I can pump it more tomorrow.
Also, to be fair, just to make sure that we understand the numbers game of the game, a 25 means that you have a +7 on the dispel check. So it would be...
And then what proc bonus besides?
Yeah, so it would be the difficulty is equal to 10 plus the spell's level. So the difficulty to dispel something 4th level or higher would be 14 to 19. And you would have a d20 +7 to do so.
Okay. And the advantages of upcasting it then are?
If you are using enough mana to have upcasted to a level equal to or higher than than the magical effect you are trying to dispel, you don't have to make a check. It happens automatically. That's really the only benefit to it.
Okay. So again, don't necessarily have to decide today who we're giving it to, but that's more useful information.
And you do have to be able to cast a spell of the level to boost it to that level.
Yes, that would be the other thing. Is technically, I thank you. I did not clarify that. To boost a spell under any circumstances, you cannot boost a spell to a level that you cannot yourself cast. So, if you can only cast 3rd level magics or less, then you're not boosting it anyway.
So yeah, at the moment, the boosting capability is a moot point for at least a little while longer. I don't really have memorized the chart about like at what level
Until
we're going to
5th
have
level
other
minimum.
spell levels.
No.
Yeah.
7th level minimum.
Yeah,
Right, I was
a
just going to say,
full
'cause I don't
caster,
even
yeah.
have 3rd levels yet, so...
yeah. For full casters, this is it's going to be irrelevant until at least 7th level. Until 7th level, everyone is doing with the exact same chances.
And there is also a procedure for deattunement and reattunement, right? If we change our mind at some point when we get other pieces and discover what they do.
Yeah, it just requires making. Technically, doesn't even require making camp. Requires one person to
An
break
hour.
their attunement, and then the other person to make an attunement check. In this system, attunement checks do not require an hour. They do, however, require a test, which will vary. And then, if you fail the test, you cannot make another test on the same item until you have made camp again.
So we don't have to make a perfect permanent decision.
No, not at all. Giving it to someone now just means someone would have it now. You can, once the entire party is here, you can reassess who gets it, and it absolutely does not matter. Once you get more pieces, you can reassess who has what, and it absolutely does not matter.
That's a fair point. There's no particular reason not to assign it because it can get reassigned. I think the more relevant question in assigning something like a dispel magic item is who is least likely to be the one who was spelled in the first place, because probably the person who is under a spell effect is not going to be able to activate this spell. So, strategically speaking, who is most likely to have gotten enchanted in the first place? They should not have it.
That is 100% accurate.
I don't know what the answer to that is. I would assume that frontliners are probably likely to get enchanted, but it depends on who you're up against. It could also be a caster if it's a really intelligent person that says, I don't want you talking.
Well, actually, if that's the case, does the using the part to cast the spell take a verbal component
Good
or a
question.
semantic component?
It takes both a verbal and semantic component, and additionally, yeah. So you would have to be able to manage a verbal and semantic component to do it. If you were in some way incapacitated, then you would not be able to activate the item.
So you kind of use it almost like a wand, really.
Correct.
Yeah, really short, stubby one.
I mean, it's, 1/7 of a staff. It's not that short. It could be a foot long.
It is in fact in canon, as I just stated, 10 inches.
Oh, okay. Sorry, missed that somehow.
That's okay. It is about 1.5 inches in diameter and 10 inches long, and made of the exact same material as the Dovak and Herodium is, and has a similar, the similar carved pathways in it that are in the Dovak, although currently there is no light worm moving through it the way there is on the Dovak.
Because we haven't tap charged it yet.
Correct.
So do we want to hand it to somebody when we get back to our room, tap it, and...
Probably a good idea. Takes how long to charge? Overnight? Like everything else.
So who do we think we probably want to hand it to for the short term? What's everybody already holding? Because I know we came across a couple shards and everything. Did we already distribute those? We did,
We
right?
haven't even distributed the shards yet.
No, we did. So
Oh,
I
we
have
did.
the,
Oh, that's
we
I
did.
have the lightning bolt shard. I think Sadie got the thunderwave shard.
Yeah,
Right,
I think
got
so.
I got the
healing
healing bit,
Correct.
and Sadie got the thunderstruck. That's right.
Correct.
Completely forgot.
Which isn't to say about anything about who we should give anything to right now, because these are totally separate from like the regular magic items. But
Right.
Yeah, so for the moment, Martin can keep it, and we'll worry about the rest of it once
Yeah,
Sadie's
for the
back.
short term.
yeah, that's not the worst idea.
Excuse me. So for now, I will hold the 6. I need to figure out a way. Right. I need to get a piece of cord or something. So what I want to do.
As in rope or electric?
Oh no, just like rope.
Okay.
What I'm thinking is, now mind you, I'll have to tie it, and so on. But if I wrap it, if I wrap 6 wraps, that will act as a reminder that this is segment number 6, and I don't. You know what I mean?
A quick identify. Obviously, Dovak will be able to re-identify it at any given time, but
Right.
quick reference,
Yep.
like saving your electrical wires.
It's still not a terrible idea. Also, if I do it that way, we end up having more than one of them. If we have them marked, even if we have them, separated amount of, I can note what segment does what in the BlackBerry. In fact, I will do that now. The one we have currently,
Not a bad
segment
idea.
6, dispel magic with yada yada yada. But we search for clues. This is what we do. So yes, we take notes. Oh goodness gracious!
At least he's not doing it in the middle of combat like some goblins we know.
At any rate, as I say, I do have another question for Dovak, but it will wait until we are away from our hosts, because I'm fearing that the question may cause some consternation, which would not be a good thing.
So do we have anything else to do while we're still with our hosts?
I want to say we're about to spec at this point. At least I hope so.
Unless they have any celebrating that they want to do.
There may be a festival feast of some kind.
There might be a little bit of that,
I mean, this was a big threat to be removed from the.
It was a
from
fairly
necessity. It would be.
significant
Yeah, there's a reasonable there's a reasonable amount of celebration with the destruction of the volcanic cats.
Do they regularly eat the flesh of the volcanic cats? Because we just brought back some mother.
Yeah.
I feel like Sadie would not be averse to donating a couple, especially lower end ones, pieces to being the celebratory feast. We've got a bunch of A's that certainly aren't too important from a construction standpoint. That's that might be a cool. I mean, if that in fact means they also function as meat, I'm assuming it kind of relates the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I would think the slashing and piercing bits probably wouldn't be meat parts. They would be more bones, teeth, claws. But anything that is armor or the fire bit,
Like the fire could be
that.
glands of some kind that would probably be cookable, right? Like cooking like liver, kidneys, or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with either the armor or the fire bits being consumed. I would not suggest giving up the D part for them to
No,
have a
but
feast.
even if we just give up like some of the A fire parts, however many you think makes a good, we won stew or whatever. I don't think Sadie would be against doing that. I think that's an appropriate thing to share with our hosts for, such a momentous occasion. I don't know how big these parts are. I mean, I'm fine with giving up all the A fire parts. You'd want bigger parts for crafting things for the most part anyway.
Correct. Okay. So, aside from festivitying, what do you guys do next?
Do you guys want to just, like eat and everything and then go back to our general quarters to talk about stuff?
Yeah, we can finish up a couple final questions and then turn in the night and get up and be ready for when the things get recharged.
Yeah, so it's totally cool just going back to your individual area. I'm assuming then that you have no further questions for any of the Krolax
No.
at this time.
No,
Okay.
I think we're good.
I mean,
can't think
you'll
of
have a
any right
chance to suddenly have more questions for them in the morning if you do.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
not the worst thing.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else right now.
No, that's fine. Okay, so you are all back at your cabin area, and it is just the four of you and a Dovak. Give or take a whole bunch of, strange origami pets.
I mean, true.
Yeah, the two
Yeah.
familiars.
3.
3 familiars.
Yeah, there's a squirrel.
A badger and a bat, I think.
You had that question for Dovak, Bacon.
Sorry, what did I miss?
You had a question for Dovak while we were.
Oh, yeah. I need to determine how far out we should be before we jump again. Because you never know. There might be some displacement or something which could throw...
Oh, you mean distance? Like, do we
Yeah.
need to get out of the settlement or something for safety?
Yeah. How far away should we be away from the settlements? Or is there a displacement issue with causing the jump?
There will be no concern for physical or temporal displacement while repositioning.
Okay. Having said, I would still like to be outside of it, because there's one more question I want to ask. And again, I want to be away from Krolak when it happens. So call it about, we get ourselves a little bit away. Yeah, make appropriate goodbyes and whatnot. Good luck. Hopefully the damn thing won't come back. Good luck to you about the shadow, etc., etc., etc.
Well, yeah, we're still just in our rooms before making camp. So,
Yeah, you still have
Oh,
time.
right. Right.
Yeah, it's
we haven't left.
It's still the early part of the nighttime. It's not it's not the early part of the morning time.
I want to make sure we're not being overheard.
You're not.
Yeah.
Good.
Which is why I've said 4 times that you're not.
Go back.
Yes.
Were you originally in the possession of the Bringer of Darkness?
No.
Who created?
That information is not available.
Do you have any information as to how a piece of the staff came to be on this world?
At a point in time prior to current, the staff was separated into its individual components to be placed in strategic locations.
Strategic for what purpose? As what part of a strategy?
I am uncertain.
But that's a good question, and one that I wasn't expecting the party to ask. So good job.
I could see that.
Really? Yeah.
That was
You
the
have a
GM's face, by the way.
I saw the GM's face.
But having said, Dovak, do you have a speculation as to what the strategy?
The Scepter of Seven does not require separation for the individual components to function. Therefore, I can think of no specific strategic reason to separate the scepter for the scepter's sake.
Does
Who
this
would-
staff have a function that only operates when all the segments are together?
It was actually about that. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, technically we know it has at least one, but
Yes,
What is that function?
temporal banishment.
So it is a powerful weapon when fully assembled, therefore was disassembled to prevent anyone's using of that function.
Plausible.
Do you know whether this planet was the site of an attack from the creature that was banished using the staff on our plane?
For clarity for the GMs, you're
Yes.
asking if Dovak is aware if the scepter was used in this in the flaming reality for a banishment of the big bad evil guy.
well, specifically, I only asked if it knows whether Big Daddy attacked here. Technically, all I actually asked.
I have no specific files that can confirm. However, presence of drawing within the cave would suggest that it is plausible.
I had formed a similar hypothesis. Stovak theorized connection between possible attack of that creature on this planet and possession by this planet of one of the segments of the staff.
Try that again?
Try that again.
I was asking it to theorize why, if there was a possible reason for a connection between a theoretical attack of that being here and the fact that a piece of the staff is here.
Possible connections include an attack occurring within this plane, a synergy connecting this plane to your home plane is also quite probable. Also possible is that these two planes exist in concurrent 11th dimensional space.
This could simply be a place where all the relevant things are able to get to.
Correct. It is possible that this location was once an invasion point. It is possible that this location is in close dimensional proximity to your home plane. It is possible that this location and your home plane are a 11th dimensional shift apart. Bear in mind, I am uncertain of the locations that we will travel to. I am able to lock onto the location of the closest segment in proximity. That does not give me any information on what that plane is or where we will arrive.
Does anybody remember what he called the main power that's used when it was together? Was it temporal teleportation or just planar teleportation? Banishment. It was a banishment. It was
Temporal banishment.
temporal banishment.
I will confirm that is correct.
Dovak, do you have records of the last time your temporal banishment capabilities of the staff were used?
Yes,
When was that?
128,000 years ago.
Can you say where?
Please define query.
Was the banishment used on our home planet/plane or on this planet/plane or another location entirely? Location/plane.
I do not believe it was used on either your home plane or this one. I would be able to sense a residue of its effect over such a short period of time. Therefore, it is likely that it was in a different location.
I love a short period of time.
It's only that's not even an epoch. What would be a
Is that just over
trillion?
an eon?
Oh no, that's much more than a trillion is more than because technically an aeon is not a specific period.
Oh, okay. Trying to remember.
Aeon doesn't apply to a specific numerical value, unfortunately. But it's only like an eighth of a trillion years. It's no big deal, right?
Dovak, can you identify the entity on which the temporal banishment was used at that time?
Hrxyg'giroth.
Must you?
Okay, can you write this down?
Furiously. I won't be able to spell it properly, but
Ha
yeah.
I have Hrxyg'giroth.
Suck it, nerd.
Dovak, was it Hrxyg'giroth that was coming through at the temple when we jumped?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
I will tell you, you did very much say it incorrectly.
I think it was more like Hrxyg'giroth.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired of my ears.
That's okay.
I'll try again.
I think it was more like
I'm probably
Hrxyg'giroth.
never going to
Maybe.
pronounce it correctly. The entity in which the temporal banishment was used 128,000 years ago. Was that the entity that was coming through the rift at the temple of the control logic unit when we jumped?
Affirmative.
So now we know, or at least we have a name. We don't necessarily know what we're up against.
Some of you have a name. The rest of you think that it's a Final Fantasy character.
Could you say that name again, please?
Hrxyg'giroth.
I love the fact that it's not coming through correctly because of the modulator. It's great. Because I kind of wanted something that was not entirely pronounceable.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be hearing it the same way. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of wanted something that was not entirely pronounceable in trade, and it's working out better than I had imagined.
Hrxyg'giroth?
I'm trying to make notes, spell the thing out phonetically 5 or 6 different times, try to figure out what the hell the name is.
I mean, Remy is literally asking Hrxyg'giroth?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
He's going to keep doing it.
This is great.
Can you spell the name in trade?
All right, give me 1 second. I got it.
This is worse than Orbit.
No, Rorbit.
Hrxyg'giroth. That's
Hrxyg'giroth.
pronounceable.
It's my personal mixelplick.
It is. It's very nice.
Done.
Hrxyg'giroth? Am I pronouncing it?
Hrxyg'giroth.
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 Yes.
Got it.
Hrxyg'giroth. Hrxyg'giroth.
Hrxyg'giroth.
Got it.
Anyway,
Because being
Right.
able to pronounce the name of a thing is always important in destroying it.
now I need to take elocution lessons.
Now you just need to get it to say its name backwards to force it to be banished.
You're starting to prepare that, right, GM?
Roarum played Mistaken Identity.
All right. Yeah, that tells us very important things. I was curious. I'm like, if we know the info.
I mean, no.
Thank you, Ralph.
We search for clues. That is what we do. Yes.
I mean, we've successfully taken it out from terror or moved it from terror to horror, right? We've given it a name.
If it
We've
bleeds, we
given it
can
a
kill
name,
it.
we've even seen it, so, you know.
Yeah.
It has been identified. Alright, so, then anything else we want to ask it?
No, I think that's.
Bacon, do you want to do the tappy tap and do your attunement?
Oh, for the.
For the staff segment?
Hmm.
I mean, unless
So-
you can think of a reason not to leave them activated, but I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I mean, we do care about being careful once we have all of them together, but until then, they're just magic items.
Viking coming through again. Well done!
Who shall henceforth be colloquially referred to as Harry.
Damn it.
No, we've had a Bob in previous seasons of the show.
That's right. That's right. The brain eater.
Ah,
Well, I mean, eventually we probably want to get the staff's recording of the events of the last banishment.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think we can stretch out the reveal and give the GM a few minutes to write what he wants to say for that.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
I didn't tell you that it had a recording. You asked if it knew who the last banishment was
know.
applied to, and
No, we haven't asked this question yet.
okay.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. We don't want to ask it yet in case there's supposed to be an answer and you don't have it yet. We're trying to be polite.
Why start now?
So we can avoid the oh shit face.
Never. No. Anytime you can get your GM to make that face, you go for it.
Yeah. We should have clipped to that because that was good.
Oh boy.
Excuse me, GM. Does this plus this plus this plus this, explain the next 3-year arc of your campaign? No.
Does
No,
now?
it doesn't. My name is J.J. Abrams, and I'll change it.
Oh,
How dare you try to figure out what the 5-year arc for my new TV show is that's supposed to be unanswerable by everybody by simply watching the pilot?
I'm just saying, we have the thing that was here when everything went down. So just saying.
I mean, I assume he knows who it was attuned to at the time in the general situation that was involved. It's just an assumption.
Actually, no. That's technically another question. Go back.
Yes.
Does the completed staff need to be attuned to use the temporal banishment capability?
The staff must be in a completely assembled form to activate a temporal banishment.
Once it is assembled, can anyone use that capability? And does it require any preparation to do so?
Once the staff is recompiled, it will require a activation sequence to use the temporal banishment. This activation sequence has several parts.
Well, that's good to know.
Will you be able to give us instruction on those parts?
Yes.
Because I'm assuming the party's going to have to do the thing when we get there. I mean, that's way in advance, but I just like to think ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, let's know in advance before we assemble and go, great, the thing's coming, let's screw it together and go! No, you have to do other things first.
Well,
Well, just like to be prepared.
Well,
Korvac, during the preparations for the banishment, are there any unusual emanations that come from the staff? Is the preparation detectable?
Define unusual.
Would it be something that, say, somebody that may be indeed the target of said banishment be aware of, or could be made aware of?
While possible, it is incredibly unlikely.
Well, there's at least that then. I don't know how much you saw of what those entities did, but I do not relish the thought of attempting to hold off a horde of them while waiting for this thing to charge.
Understandable. That is one of the reasons why the Scepter of Seven has been fabricated in the form that it has.
Anything else we can think of, or do we want to get ready for tomorrow?
Yep.
I believe so. Do you wish to activate the sixth section of the staff?
I suppose we're going to need to. GM, am I able to attune prior to the segment being fully charged?
No, the segment has to be charged and able to accept an attunement.
Right.
That much you're aware of.
Okay.
Let's charge overnight.
Right.
Fair enough.
No, the segment doesn't need to charge overnight. It simply needs to be tapped to the Dovac. The amount of power to reactivate the staff is literally inconsequential compared to the amount of power that the Dovac requires to be able to open the portal that it does.
I mean, that's fair.
No. All right. Tap the stick.
Okay.
Charge the stick.
So you take the head, aka Dovac, and you tap the side of it with the staff. And as you do, you see the circuit worm that's on the Dovac kind of like shoots over without changing the path on the Dovac at all. Shoots over, hits the other segment, and quickly alights through it, activating it, and then you see a split second, almost like just spark flash of light fly off the bottom of the scepter, and a small blue flash, maybe about in the same 1.5 inches in diameter as the scepter segment itself, flies off the bottom edge of the segment and strikes the ground and just and then disappears.
Segment is charged.
The segment is now charged and glowing.
Yay!
I will attempt to begin the attunement process then.
Woohoo!
You are immediately aware that while you can attune to multiple segments of the Scepter of Seven, you cannot be attuned to multiple unconnected segments at the same time.
Okay.
As in, you would just start thinking about it, and your brain just says no. You're aware that you cannot connect to this device and be connected to the Dovac unit at the same time.
Oh, I can't. Okay.
Because they're not connected, and
They're
therefore
not adjacent.
not a single device. It forces your brain to recognize a problematic existence where you are concurrently attuned to the same item twice.
Right. Okay.
So you can't. You're trying to focus on the staff. You're trying to focus on the piece of the scepter, and the part of your brain that attunes to magic goes, we're already attuned to the scepter. So you can't attune to this segment of it because you're attuned to this segment of it, and these two segments don't connect.
But if he had, for example, segment 1, he could do that.
Theoretically.
And theoretically, if someone had 6 and 5, they could do that.
But if somebody only had the head, 2, 4, and 6, they could not attune to any of them. Fortunately, there are 4 players in this party.
There are 4
and
party
I might have
members.
figured out this math appropriately.
Right.
Okay. So, having
What you're
said,
saying is poor design choice.
Or perfect
Wrong
design
choices.
choices.
Wrong choice of addressing
Is it
mechanism.
a flaw or a feature?
Depends on who's
So
asking.
who else do we want to have access to this right now?
Or
so I
alternatively, someone else, he could drop the attunement
Or
on the
someone else could
Dovac. Someone else could hold, someone could hold the portal device and
That's
then
true.
he could hold the dispel device. That
That
is an
is true.
option.
I think that part you recall, Bacon. It was entrusted to you.
Yeah, I will maintain hold of the Dovak, which means, after I explain, they're the same item, so I can't attune to both of them. There's math involved, non-Euclidean geometry, and a little bit of business calculus for.
It's literally what it is. It's not it's non-Euclidean arcane formulas. This is an item that exists all at once as a single device and 7 single devices. So your brain can't figure out where to put the chair in the corner of the room because the room only has 5 because the room only has 2 corners.
He doesn't understand virtual bridges.
The transitive property can't skip steps.
The transitive property cannot skip.
So one of you 3 will have to, if we intend to use it, it'll have to be one of you 3.
I look at Remy. So,
I mean,
which one of us at the moment should utilize it? Technically, I guess he's also here, which is not the moment. So.
I don't have the capability to do what that thing does otherwise. I'm not sure if you do. Or
Actually,
I forget what Sadie's character's name is.
the
Leos.
Yeah, I don't know if either of you are able to do so on your own. I know I cannot.
I cannot use that spell yet, but I do have access to magical capabilities as you would define them.
And I believe Leos would say that technically she does not. I believe we covered that last time.
She does not have any spellcasting capability whatsoever.
Yes.
Yeah, because hers are all innate and elemental, they're not spell.
Correct.
I mean, I would almost say Laos would probably be the most beneficial. She's kind of magic adjacent and probably not going to be constantly with their face in a line of fire.
Well, she actually did. I think even in game to the party, I think she expressed that she was planning to move forward into frontline or second rank.
But second rank isn't with your face in the way of their
Fair.
paws.
Yeah, I do a lot of that because I'm a stupid cat.
And you're not a frontliner. Don't do that.
If I'd have been if I'd have read my spells a little better, I wouldn't have been quite that stupid. As it turns out, it worked.
That is a
Let's
thing.
face it, it was funny as hell.
I say the dice had a story to tell on that one.
This dice
That's
definitely
what I
had a
was-
story to tell.
I always worry about that, particularly with any abilities, but particularly with spells and stuff like that I like totally misunderstood a certain aspect
Yeah.
of it, and like, I got that wrong.
Yeah, but I'm thinking specifically Sadie's character as a second rank probably would be
My,
best.
my favorite issue with getting spells wrong is anytime you use a spell on a creature or item and then learn that the creature or item is not of the target type that you thought they were when you cast the spell.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite is cast knock on a door or a chest, and the GM goes, the spell fails. Wait, why? It only works.
Run away!
It only works if it's targeting an object. But I'm targeting a.
Oopsie.
My personal favorite was when someone cast Charm Person on the head of a merchant's guild in a campaign.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work because the head of the merchant's guild was a Hrxyg'giroth.
And they were not officially a person.
They are not.
No,
They are not
Their
a humanoid.
monstrosity?
Yes, they're. So they cast Charm Person. And they needed to cast Charm Monster. And they didn't know it because they were in fact disguised. Similar effect. Somebody trying to cast a spell on a polymorph dragon because they thought it was the Tavern Keeper, because the Tavern Keeper was in fact the dragon, and they didn't know it. That was the Red Dragon Inn. The owner of the Red Dragon Inn was a red dragon because in fact the correct name of the location was the Red Dragon's Inn.
Possessive?
Yep. And everyone just said it wrong. Even though the sign on the front had an
Punctuation is
apostrophe
important.
S. Punctuation is important. But yeah, my favorite miscast is always, I am sorry, your spell has failed. It is not. It was not aimed at the correct target type. Wait, what? Oh.
Yeah, target wasn't valid.
I just need to roll initiative now, don't I? Yes, you do.
Okay. A smaller but more recent example, if you create a bunch of lightning motes against something that does not, in fact, take lightning damage.
Also, yes. I slap it with
I feel
lightning. That's
personal-
nice.
I want you to
personally
know I'm
attacked.
paying attention to you, Noctis.
I don't know.
That I'm
I mean,
paying attention to your campaigns.
I feel personally attacked. Hey,
I
but
don't know.
it all worked out. One of them got an axe, and then definitely contributed to the beatings later on.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be worse.
All
You
right.
could cast knock on a door, and the DM says, "I'm sorry, that doesn't work." Why? Well,
When
because
the door
the
opens
latch-
wide and there are teeth inside.
Well, no, I was going to say because the doors actually didn't completely latch, and therefore it's ajar.
No, it's still open.
Oh.
I
It's so
You can
swinging.
open a
Sorry.
jar.
had to recover somehow. I'm so sorry.
It's still
Anyway,
open. Anyway,
yeah, that was terrible.
Okay, so we'll actually have Leos attuned to it, but we can do that next time since she's
Yeah.
not here to do the interaction.
Yeah, unless she has some sort of objection to it. Yeah.
I already messaged her in the chat.
Yeah, I see it in the chat. We're good to go there.
Okie dokie. Then that is essentially resolved for that. Do we have anything else we want to do before we officially make camp?
I think I'm good.
And we have to go through the steps of making camp.
okay. You make camp. You will again be able to make camp without any expense or needing to establish watches because you are in a location that is independently secure and is not going to charge you.
That's always nice.
Yeah,
Well, it doesn't mean shit can't hit the fan.
it's true, but it means you have a reasonable suggestion of safety and therefore can take a long rest.
Yes.
Also, it means that you do not have to pay for lodging or for food.
Which is a good thing because we have
Yeah.
money.
Correct.
We kind of left in a hurry. We didn't bring our wallets.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna. Yeah.
Hey, I remember to bring my keys. That's all I can say.
Technically, I always bring everything with me, but that doesn't mean I generally walk around with money, as I don't really need food or shelter most of the time.
I'm sorry, do they have ATMs out here? Nope.
Yes, we need an intergalactic ATM, please. Thank you.
Sorry, we don't know of that network. That will be a $5,000 fee.
The convenience fee is really steep out here.
Yeah, that's where they get you. Okay, so you rest. You're all already completely healed. You recharge your healing pools, and that also means that Herodium has to precast everything.
Yeah, I also get to maintain. Is that in addition to my new points for the day? I get that bleed over. Okay,
That is things that you have that you cast yesterday that were not used yet. You can keep a small number of them.
Okay, so that includes, I know we had a distracting cacophony that Bacon had, which doesn't mean you have to keep it. You can hand it back or hand it to someone else if you want, because it is an object. And I believe the other two of you each had a healing word that you did not use.
Yeah, I still have a healing word, and I'd like to hold on to that.
I don't think I can keep all 4 of those. I think I can only keep 3 at this time, unless it went up with my level and I missed it. But if you both want to keep the healing words, I'm okay with just keeping those as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I can hand back the cacophony. Don't harm, no foul.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind losing the 1 point if you both want to keep the healing word, because that's something that's so useful for everybody to have something on them. Oh, you did. Leos did use her healing word. Okay, all right, then we have exactly 3 points left anyway. I think those are the only things not used. So okay, so Noctis, you keep your healing word. We can keep the distracting cacophony. Bacon, if you want to physically hold on to it, you can, or you can hold it to someone else, and it can still be maintained. It doesn't matter because it's a little object.
All right, I'll hold it for now then.
Okie dokie. So I will maintain those three. I don't have. Oh, I don't still have the pages pulled up. Preparations. I guess I again get one, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That doesn't change for a very long time.
Okay. So, does anybody have anything more concrete they want to suggest? My instinct is to default back to the saving throws whenever we don't know anything else, because it's like a avoiding worst case scenario kind of thing.
You guys keep going and thinking. I'll be back in a second.
So, yeah, and if nobody has any objection, I will go with the saving throws. That way, if the worst happens, we still have protection from that.
So, with the morning, you all awake. You all get your little, token of admiration from Herodium, which gives you your +1 to whatever. And you begin to set off for the day.
I would like to do one more small role-playing thing before we, if we are going to, make a gesture of leaving our hosts.
Okay.
I know this will push party development off another day, but I would actually like to offer either the chieftain or priestess, if it's possible, today's summon familiar.
Oh, totally possible.
How long do they last anyway? Like, if we leave, it'll still be there until it gets broken, right?
You can only have one of those one summon available at a time, but once someone uses the summon, then that becomes their bonded familiar, and that remains permanent, and you can cast another one without affecting you can make another one without affecting any of the existing ones.
Okay, so I would like to offer one to our hosts, and let them know that it would be advisable that they explain what it is, and it would be advisable that they use it today because it may not still be usable tomorrow.
And do you intend to give it to the chieftain or to the witch?
I think I have to explain it to the witch anyway, because she's the one that's going to understand what it is and how it works. So I will abide by her recommendation as to who is the most appropriate person to whom to give the gift.
She's keeping it.
Then she's getting it.
I guess she don't have fun familiar.
No, she doesn't.
I'm sure she'll appreciate it more anyway.
Yeah, probably.
And she gave us so much help that it's entirely appropriate,
Yeah.
I think. So I would like to do that as a gift to our hosts.
Come on, she had to listen to all our yabbering and.
I know. I think it's only fair. So I'd like to offer this. I mean, come on, yeah, why not? Doesn't hurt, right?
The group collects, and again, you take a moment saying goodbye to your newfound friend, and then once everyone looks around at each other for a moment, Martin takes out the orb and runs his thumb along the pattern the same way he did before. And there is a brilliant flash of blue light. And then the four of you are suddenly no longer on a ashen volcanic plain. You are instead in the middle of a primordial forest. You are surrounded by trees hundreds of meters in height. The sky above you is a almost yellowy orange color. You are unsure if that is due to the time of day, or if that is just a normal atmospheric condition.
Is the sun visible from where we are?
If it is, for obvious reasons, somewhere above the tree canopy, which means you have no chance of figuring out its location.
Because the canopy
God
is
raised
that high.
trees.
Right. So, first thing, Dovak,
Yes.
time to next recharge for jump, please.
Calculating.
And I'll prepare to, start the clock.
Roll me a d10. Bacon.
Have a d10. That's a 9.
Time until battery cells repowered. 27 hours, 36 minutes, 11 seconds, approximate.
Start the clock.
What are you setting
On the
your clock for?
BlackBerry.
What are you setting your clock for?
Oh, I'll set it for 47:50. Because it seems like... Well, I didn't check. But it seems like he's using our time still.
He is definitely using your local time, yes.
Right. So we'll send it... I'll set... You know what? I'll set it for an even 48, just in case.
Ari, you look confused.
I thought that Dovak said 29.
He, in fact,
I
said
thought I heard-
27.
27.
27.
Oh, he said 27?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't get the impression
I
that
heard
that's what Bacon
47.
heard. Okay. Yeah, but I
I
didn't
heard
think he meant to send it that.
I've been doing that all night. All right, I'll
That's
set
okay.
it
That's all I'm letting you know.
Right. I'll set it for 30. 30.
I mean, to be fair, I have never yet met a titanium softball that was easy to understand.
That's fair.
You know a lot of titanium snow or softballs.
No, but that doesn't mean I've been able to understand any of them.
I have not understood a single one I have ever talked to.
Exactly.
All right. So,
Question, Dorvac. Can you store enough to make multiple jumps?
Not in my current condition. When
Under what conditions could you store for multiple jumps?
under original factory quality specifications.
So when all 7 pieces are connected.
No, that will not de-age this unit.
yeah, this...
Well, that just sounds like false advertising.
Look, after 128,000 years, it's a little out of warranty.
Not unfair.
Give him a break. Give him a break. It's been a while since he's been under this kind of stress.
That's true, too. Still working out that ring rust.
Yeah.
Can we
right.
replace the batteries?
Super Volt?
Oh, my brains.
I remember my grandfather
Alright.
getting so mad at a company that made a razor. They made it so you couldn't replace the battery, so he called them up, try to order batteries to replace them. It's like, I have all this stuff I have the batteries out. I just need you to send me one. It's like, no. We won't.
I've disassembled it. I'm sorry, that's against the warranty. I don't care. It's out of warranty. I would like a replacement battery. We don't sell replacement
No.
batteries because replacing the battery would void the warranty. It's out of the warranty. We still don't sell them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
Right, so primordial forest, really, really big trees. Obvious fauna. That's what I'm looking for.
is there anything looking at us like we're food? I guess that's the
That is
question.
the most relevant first question.
Yeah.
Perception or investigation?
At least he didn't say initiative.
True.
or
Yeah.
empathy.
You did it again.
You never want to answer is something looking at me like I'm food with a give me an empathy roll, because that generally means it is.
So perception or investigation?
I'm saying there's a chance.
I am willing to say that all of you hear a sound in the distance. A sound which is akin to a humming noise, but is incredibly loud for the only thing that you could equate it to.
So angry humming.
Angry humming.
Like it's more like a buzzing noise, but it's very it's big for buzzing.
Is there a particular direction this buzzing is coming from? And is there an easy way to not go that direction in a rapid, by rapid means?
But you don't think it's friendly buzzing?
The buzzing sound is coming from the east, or at least what you would associate with as east.
I look towards the west. Is there
What?
easy passage that direction?
It is no harder to travel than any other direction, and it is in fact buzz-free.
You would like to move away from the buzzing? Is that what you're saying?
I am thinking that is probably a wise decision, yes.
How far does this buzzing sound again?
It's tough to know exactly how far away it is because of the quality
Right.
of the sound. It sounds like it is probably like maybe 100 meters or so away, but also keep in mind, for you to be able to hear a buzzing noise from more than 100 meters away, that has to be a ridiculous amount of big.
Fun fact, I was in IRL in a rainforest one time, and I heard what I thought was the sound of a train. And I was informed that, oh, it's just the monkeys. I'm like, what? The monkeys? He was in fact referring to howler monkeys. I said, oh, wow, that's really loud. They have to be really close. He goes, no, that's over a mile away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard to tell. Moral of the story. However, in the immediate sense, we can start walking west if you want, but go back.
Yes.
Do you know the proximity and direction of the staff piece that is on this planet?
Calculating.
Y'all aren't gonna believe this, but I did roll randomly.
Oh my god, this is these.
I can. You know what? Let me just do this.
It's
real
rigged.
quick.
It's rigged.
Let me just do this real quick. So you can see in chat here where the game master has rolled twice in a row, rolling a d8, which he used as cardinal directions, 1 being north, 2 being northeast, 3 being east, und so weiter. He rolled a 3, so the sound was to the east. He then rolled again and rolled a 3, so the next piece is to the east.
Well,
Nice. They got a story to tell.
Indeed.
nice. I'm gonna tell a story.
The dice, they party.
That is a possibility.
Well, guess what?
Well, can always go north to see if that remains to be east, or if that indeed does turn towards the sound.
Mm-hmm.
If you wish to take a circuitous route for safety purposes, I do not object.
The north
Yeah.
it is.
Cut north.
Like northeast, kind of like start making an
North?
arc and see if
North?
Yeah.
As due north as a northeasterly direction can be and still be considered not perfectly north. Got it. We're going east, off by 88 degrees.
I'm sorry, yeah, we're going east. It's just, that patch of ground doesn't look stable. We'll just go around it this way.
Yeah.
We're running a tangent to a circle here.
Wait, we don't want it to, know we're coming too readily. We gotta, do it,
Quite.
kind of spiral into it.
All right, well, why don't you all give me a D8, and we'll see how many threes you guys can get.
Ah, we're bookending, I see.
An 8, a 4, a 1, and a long distance Sadie with a 4. Okay.
Not my fault this time.
Nope.
As you continue moving from the north, can you give me a wilderness survival check?
Everyone?
Yeah, and anybody that wants to check.
There are sticks!
You are so out of your environment.
It is clearly a forest.
We're in the desert.
trees.
Forest. We're in the forest.
I see trees.
1, 2, 5, 3, sir.
Now the stuff on the ground is that dirt? I've heard tell of it. Here, it's a great thing for crops. These plants crave electrolytes.
Who doesn't?
I mean, that's fair, actually. You are heading mostly north. And let's go ahead and set this here. And we'll just do a boop. And a boop.
Actually, that would be a question. How far are these things spaced out? Is there enough room to fit a vehicle between them, or is it?
Oh, the trees.
The massive trees? Probably. Like, there's a pretty good amount. Like, you are in an incredibly choked forest as far as light and probably root support goes. However, by incredibly choked, understand that the trees you're seeing are probably anywhere from 25 to 40 feet in diameter, which means there's going to be a good 150 feet apart. There's underbrush and low-end growth, like level 1, level 2 stuff, but the actual megafauna or megaflora trees, those are always going to be a good 150, 200 feet separated from each other because they are gigantic.
So, yeah, And I mean, it depends on how the roots grow too. If it were similar to redwoods, where they actually have believe it or not, redwoods have a shallow, wide root system. Depending on the root system, it is possible that there's not a whole lot growing in between them either of any substantial size.
Yeah.
So would we want to pull out that vehicle that you conveniently had?
I was gonna say, in which case, if we want to pull out some kind of like an off-road, all-terrain vehicle of some kind, because we should have access to almost anything in modern or sci-fi, right?
Correct.
So either off-road,
And
all-terrain,
speeder.
or even, I was gonna say, or even hovercraft. I don't know if that's an option.
Let me check your spell.
Yeah, it just says that's available in the world or something like that. Yeah, available in the world. I would assume they mean our home world.
Yes.
Yeah, that we would know about.
Right, basically, yeah, a vehicle that you would understand. Yeah.
Okay, so is it celestial, fey, fiend, or elemental?
I would say in honor of Sadie, we're probably going to choose elemental.
Okay, and then what type of elemental do you want it to be?
You think Sadie would want to be matching her for feeling nice, or do we want to pick something else that it doesn't? What kind of, would I know what kind of effect that has on anything? Is it just an aesthetic?
It's mostly just aesthetic.
I mean, nevertheless, I mean, she is something that would blend in pretty well anywhere, probably. So it's something that would roughly look camouflage. So I don't know what elements we have access to, but stone's probably not out of line, or if
It's
there's
not the
something
worst.
more wood or whatnot. Yeah.
And what type of vehicle do you want?
Do you want to be touching the ground or not touching the ground, guys? All right. So yeah, then maybe like some kind of an off-road. I think we probably want like a little bit longer than wide, but yeah, with like good off-road
Okay.
tire kind of thing, like maybe an elongated 4-seated ATV kind of a thing or something.
So for the next 4 hours, or for the next 24 hours,
24 hours.
you now have a 4-seater off-road vehicle available.
Woo! Anybody know how to drive?
You don't have to. It will drive itself.
Oh, because this is Belle. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Johnny cab. Nice.
Yeah.
And Speed Buggy's off-road cousin. Yes, it's Speed Buggy 3030.
Nice.
Herbie, what?
We are so overdue for a new Herbie movie. Like, how did we not get one of those when they relaunched the Volkswagen Bug? I don't understand it. We got...
Because it was a bad thing to do, and they should have felt bad for doing it.
Yes, but...
No, yes, and
How did we not get Tim Burton remaking a Herbie movie, but turning it into into you know a gothic horror comedy? Why did he not do that instead of ruining Dark Shadows? All right, I will have a vehicle token for you next week.
No worries.
You begin moving, and after a short distance of heading north with a slight east tinge, you see coming out of the ground in a position to attack. What looks like burrowing out of the ground, a large, multi-limbed, insectial creature. with a long triangular shaped head and a pair of massive pincers, almost as large as a human being, that extend from its mandible.
Well, that is unfortunate.
It is. And as you see this burrowing out of the ground, we will end there for this week.
Woohoo!
And that means the next week we can start with a fight. Yay!
Yay! That's always fun.
But that also means the chat gets to decide who gets fate point. Do you give it to Ari for asking GM breaking questions? Do you give it to Bacon for not being able to attune to a magic item? Do you give it to Noctis for, I don't know, reasons? Or do you give it to Sadie for not being able to be here this evening? I like reasons, so Noctis. That's good. Ari. Okay. 1 and 1. Anyone else? If you're watching this on YouTube, that means that I have gone 4 episodes and I'm still getting my editing done. Yay! If you would like to see this episode live, please come and check us out on Sundays on Twitch from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. Eastern. Check us out on Saturdays for our Cyberpunk campaign, on Fridays for small packages where Noctis plays a gnome, on Thursday for Exacted Spirits where I play a dwarf, on Tuesday for Light and Darkness where Ari plays a bunch of things, and on Monday for Voyage of the Argosy, where I can't even tell you what I'm playing next week because I'm not sure, because Jerica is a wonderful, terribly wonderful, wonderfully terrible GM and terrorizes the crap out of the party. So, fate for all 3. No! Don't want to do it.
It looks like at least 2 is going to happen.
You know what? In the spirit of Christmas, can't redeem more than 1? No, there's timeouts for that. In the spirit of Christmas, we'll do 1 each. Even Sadie.
Yay!
And certainly not because you're about to need them.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Certainly not.
It's going to be a simple fight. It'll be done in 5 minutes.
Barely an inconvenience.
Certainly not. We certainly didn't avoid one fight for the GM to go, oh yeah, really? Fine, I'll throw you this one instead.
I wasn't going to do it. Look, you're the ones that had to roll D8s and rolled 1s. The only thing that I did was pick what direction things
I
were
rolled
in.
an 8.
Well, and so you're not to blame, but someone else is.
Not my fault.
Nope, that was me.
With that, we will be wrapping for tonight. Thank you all very much for being here. We hope that you guys had fun. We, as always, had a blast entertaining you. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, do all the things. Check us out on Twitch, where you can be part of the show and part of the action. And in the meantime, everyone, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. You're probably not seeing this until after the holidays, but maybe you're seeing it again in another year. So in which case, happy holidays, or whatever holiday is coming up next that you celebrate. Anyway, thank you all very much. Have a good night, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye!